Hello everybody, I'm Ian, and today we're going to be taking a look at Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth.
This video is brought to you by Meeple Times. Go to meepletimes.com to find many board games at buy one, get one half off. It's also brought to you by Game Booster, a Facebook group dedicated to find you the best deals on board games.
So here we are down at the table, and as always, this is a very quick overview, so do not use this as a rules explanation. It is simply a way to get a feel for what the game is like. So here we have a 3-player game, and I've set up a game with Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas. And don't worry, this is not an actual map. I will be showing you a little bit on the app, but even then, each time it's randomized, so I'm really going to use the app to show you how to do a few certain actions. So what's going to happen is at the beginning of each scenario, it's going to tell you to scout. And so what each character does in a scouting situation is they're going to reveal the top few cards of this deck. Now this is a character's action deck. And what it has is a whole bunch of different actions. And then you start off with one weakness. And here is a weakness, and basically all weakness is it stacks the deck so that way it's harder to get successes. So in a scouting situation, it's going to say like Scout 2 or Scout 3. What you can do is you're going to reveal the top 2 cards, and then once you reveal the top 2 cards, you're going to read them you're going to read their text to see which one you want to use more. So for example, this one is when you test Spirit, you may discard this skill to add 1 success. That's just an example of some cards that are in there, but each character does have character-specific and role-specific cards in their deck. So when you if you decide to change roles later, this deck will change. And also, as you level up, you can add more cards to this deck. So what you're going to do is you're going to scout 2. You are allowed to prepare one of them, in which case you just place it at the bottom of your character sheet. And then the other one, you can decide whether to place at the top or the bottom of the deck. So that's the first thing you do, is you're gonna, the app is gonna tell you to scout. Okay, so then each character can take 2 actions. So here on the board, I have my 3 characters, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. And the app is going to tell you exactly where to place them on the map. You can take 2 actions, and there are 3 possible actions. You can travel, attack, or interact. When you travel, you can move 2 spaces. So Gimli, for example, can move 1, 2, and that would be 1 action. So you can move 2, or you can also obviously move 2 times. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would be my entire turn. Now, when you enter a map tile that has one of these search tokens on it, what you're going to do is you're going to click that search token on the app, and unfortunately I've already done it here in this situation, but you're going to click the search token on the app, and it's going to tell you exactly what you found, and then it's going to tell you to pick up the search token and place it on your character sheet. These can be used to modify your draw cards. So yeah, they can be used to modify your draw cards. I'll show you exactly what that means in a bit. So if we were to stop there, he searched that spot, he drew that, and gained, this is called an inspiration. Okay, if you're traveling, in the middle of your turn, you can actually take an interact or an attack action. So you can move 1, interact, and then move again. So these tokens are interaction tokens. They come on this, or they also come on a red little danger side. They both basically do the same thing, except this is more of a threatening side. This is more of it's probably going to be okay, but you never know. And when you do that, you're then going to take the app again, and you are going to find the search token, click it, and it's going to tell you some text. So in this case, it says a runsack made of rough canvas has been abandoned here, and you can either search or cancel. So I'm going to go ahead and search, and it's going to say it's going to have some flavor text, okay. And then it says you can loot the supplies or leave the rucksack. I'm going to go and loot the supplies. And it says that, ooh, I suffer 2 fear. So once again, more flavor text. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and describe fear and damage. So here in the deck, we have the damage deck. Oh, got a little light there. The damage deck and the fear deck right there. So what you can do is, the app told me to draw 2 fear. So I'm going to take the fear deck, and I'm going to draw 2, okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to first flip it over and reveal what the text says and do what the text says. So this first one, it says, you and each nearby hero suffer 1 damage. Then discard this card. So I'm going to resolve that immediately. So it says I suffer 1 damage and my nearby heroes. So nearby is anything on your tile or adjacent to your tile. So that means in this particular situation, everyone is going to get damaged. I'm not going to go through that just because it'll take a while to do, but it will show you a damage. So at this present time, you're going to continue to resolve this fear that I discovered. And then I'm going to draw a damage, and it says flip this card face down. That's what this one says. So damage and fear. On your cards, it says how much fear and how much damage you can have. So Gimli, for example, can have 4 fear and 6 damage before he essentially dies. I'll get into that in a second. So, the max they can have is that number of either face up or face down fear. So I'm going to flip this one face down like it says. So if I were to get 6 of these, Gimli would essentially die. Now I have to resolve this second fear, and it just says flip this card face down. Now, the reason why it says flip this card face down is there are some times when a card will say be remained face up, and it may say something like you lose 1 when traveling, you can only move 1. It'll be different things, so that's why it says remain face up, and it remains in effect until the card says you can flip it down. So right now Gimli has 1 fear and 1 damage, and technically these two, Legolas and Aragorn would have a damage as well. Anyways, I'm trying to go as fast as I can, but this is a pretty complex game. So what we have now is Gimli is done with his actions, and so Legolas and Aragorn can now take their actions. Well, we have 2 enemies here, 2 ruffians. So let's say they're going to attack them. So, let's say Aragorn is going to attack first. So Aragorn, what he can do is he can move 1 into their space, because he is a melee attack, so he's going to move 1 into their space, and then he's going to attack them. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your deck, and you're going to look at your weapons, and in the top left corner, it's going to tell you what you test for the weapon. So here it has a little red battle horn. That is might. So you look at the might for Aragorn, and it says 3. Okay, so that means you're going to reveal 3 cards. You're going to reveal 1, 2, 3. Oh, and in this particular situation, as you can see, I'm going to go and keep just pulling cards until I find a success. Hold on 1 second. Okay, here we go. So, let's say I drew this instead. So in this situation, we have these 3 cards. This is a weakness, and like I said, it doesn't mean it just cancels out. It doesn't cancel success, but it's just not a success. So basically we have these 2 cards. This one, this yellow symbol, is a success. That is a success. This symbol in the top left corner is inspiration. Now, if Aragorn had some inspiration, he can turn in an inspiration to turn that into a success. And so these are possibly successes if you have previously gained some inspiration. So let's say I did not do that, and he didn't have inspiration, so he only drew 1 success. So then you're going to look at your weapon, and it's going to tell you exactly hits you get per success. So it says if you have 1 success, you can get 2 hits, or 2 successes, you can have 5 hits. So he only had 1 success, so he only gets 2 hits. So you're going to take the app, you're going to click on the character that you are fighting, and it's going to tell you how many characters are currently in that group, and the app will assist you on where to put them and everything. And you can apply 2 hits, so that's the hit button. You can apply 2 hits to the ruffians, and you can see it go down. You apply, you confirm. It does make sound, but I've turned the sound down. And then it's going to ask, can enemies attack? So after you attack an enemy, they're always going to counter. So since they are in the same space as Aragorn, they can counter. So they're going to say yes. And now they're going to say what they attacked with, an attack for 2, and a fear for 2. So that's a total of 4 hits, essentially. But it also says this word might negates. So might can negate these attacks. So what I can do is, once again, I have 3 might. Aragorn has 3 might. So Aragorn can reveal 3 cards, and tests them to see how much he can negate. Well, in this situation, he only got 1 success, and he has no inspiration, so he can negate 1 of those damage. And he can choose whether he's going to negate the fear or the damage. Since he doesn't have any fear or damage, and he can take 5 of each. He's just going to go and take 2 damage and 1 fear. And obviously, you would lead them face up, resolve them, and then turn them face down. And that's how you would resolve an attack. Now, I'm not going to go through Legolas' turn, but Legolas, his weapon, has this symbol that is a ranged symbol. And so basically what that means is he can attack anyone on his space or anyone adjacent to his space. So probably what would have been good in this situation is for Legolas to attack the ruffians so that way they couldn't counter against him because they can't do ranged attacks. But unfortunately, in this situation, Aragorn was a little too speedy and decided to run in headlong and take the attack, did do very good, and then took some damage. So that's basically how you're going to play the game. You're going to travel around the map. You're going to be finding these search tokens, these interact tokens. You're going to be interacting with people on the map. You're going to be fighting bad guys, searching new territories, and as you're doing that, the map is going to be building. So it's going to tell you add map tile 2 and 203A and tell you exactly where to add it. Oh, you can't see that though. And you're constantly going to be shifting things around to add a new tile to the map. And eventually, it's going to have an objective that you're going to either complete or not complete based on how well you're doing it. Now, when you're done with all of the character's actions, you're going to click this button over here to say to end the turn, end action phase, which case you're going to confirm, and then all of the enemies are going to take their turn. And also, you're gonna have this track up top increase, and when it passes certain marks, different events are gonna happen in the story. And if it gets to the end, you lose the game. That is one way to lose the game. The other way to lose the game is if one of your characters dies. If a character dies, you have to beat the game in this turn. Now, how does a character die? If they were to reach their damage or fear limit, either one, or maybe even both, they have to do what's called a last stand. And so what you do is you're going to click this green button on the side and say which character is going to perform a last stand. Let's say because of Aragorn's arrogance and his being too quick to go to battle, he eventually gains too much damage. So you're going to click on Aragorn and you're going to confirm that he is going to complete a last stand. Now, it's going to ask you whether it's damage or fear. In this case, I said it was damage. And then it's going to say exactly what you have to do. You feel your body failing and you try to rally. Test might 1. So he is then going to test his might and he needs to get 1 success. Well, there's 1 success right there, so we know he did it. So in this case, he did the test. So you're going to go and pass. And he did it. Congratulations. It says discard all damage and gain 1 inspiration. So that means you get to discard all of the damage. It's now gone from his damage, and you get to keep fighting. Now, if it were to happen again, let's see if we confirm. Let's say he damages again. Now he's already died once, so now it's going to say test 2, so it gets a little more difficult. And let's say he fails this one, and then it says you have fallen. Remove your figure from the map. At the start of the next shadow phase, which is the enemy phase, you will fail this adventure. That is one way you can lose the game. So either the time runs out or one of your characters dies. That's how you lose, and by completing the objective, that's how you win. Now, I know I've talked for quite a bit, but this is only one of the maps. The other map are these battle maps. And what's going to happen with these is it's going to have you place different tokens on it. There's bushes and rivers and walls and everything. And then it's going to have you place your characters on there as well. And basically all you're going to do is you're going to complete whatever the objective is. This one obviously looks like it's going to be a fighting objective, but there are other things. It's kind of nice that you can either have this world map that kind of has a zoomed out view of Middle-earth, or you can zoom in and do a battle. But that's not it. Sometimes they have deduction, where you're trying to find a certain character in like a shady inn. There's lots of different kinds of scenarios that they do with both of these maps, which makes it really interesting, a lot of replayability. Anyways, this has been a really long overview. I'm going to make my review portion very short because, like I said, this has been very long. But I'm going to go up top and tell you guys what I think of the game. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to try to keep this very quick. So what did I think of this game? Well, I liked it. I really enjoyed this game. Like I said, I've only played 5 scenarios, and I've only played them solo. So I think it's really in the solo game you only play with 2 characters. I chose to play with Bilbo and Gimli, which I don't think were the best pair. I would have rather have a ranged character. I also would have had Legolas or something. But I just wanted to play with Bilbo and I wanted to play with Gimli, so that's what I ended up doing. So let's go real quick into my gamer score and we'll just get it done. So genre and theming. This is Lord of the Rings. I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I'm going to go right out there and say it. I enjoy the movies. I don't like the books. I just think they're too wordy. But I enjoy the movies. I don't love the movies, but this is Lord of the Rings. If you like Lord of the Rings, this is Lord of the Rings. Our art and components, really good. I like the map tiles. I like the variability of the map tiles, the battle map and the world map. I love the minis. Mini cards aren't the best, but I think because you're just doing quick tests and they're shuffling again, I do like that they're just so fast to handle. Mechanics. This is probably, I really like the drawing of the cards. Dice don't like me, whatever. Dice are random, that's nice. But I like being able to prepare, which then affects your deck as well, and being able to upgrade your deck. It really adds some nice mechanics to the game. Now, this is also going to be the 2 negatives. I don't like that when you do a test, you reveal exactly how many cards it tells you to. Because what if it says test, and you 1 success is a pass, and then you reveal a card, you succeed, but now you have to reveal 3 more cards burning through your deck. Now, granted, you could be revealing not successes, which is good, but what if you're revealing 3 more successes, and that means those are 3 more successes that aren't in your later draws. And so, I don't know, I think when I finally play this with my group, I may house rule that you actually are allowed to stop at whenever you want, either when you succeed or when you think you have enough. That's one thing that I may house rule opening up to my group, though. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but I kind of felt like it was a little dumb sometimes to keep drawing, even though I know I already succeeded. Especially for hits and things like that. If I know I only need X number of hits, I want to just stop when I succeed that much. So while the mechanics are good, I like the mechanics, and also there is that one downside I feel to it. Ease of play, it's pretty easy as far as mechanics go. You're taking 2 actions of these 3. You're interacting, you're moving, or you're attacking. And that's really it. The app is nice because it really handles all of the enemies. Now, it doesn't handle where the enemies are on the map. So you have to remember when it says to move, you have to move the enemies. So it's nice because it doesn't make the app doesn't make the game feel irrelevant. It only supports the game, which is kind of nice. Now with ease of play, I also will have this another negative. It is difficult. It is very difficult. I played 5 scenarios. I've won 3 out of 5, which I think was pretty lucky. I think the first one that I won, I think was only because I played some rules wrong. After thinking back on it, I think I would have lost that one. So I would have lost 3 of 5. So it is very difficult. So while it is easy to play, it is hard to win. Replayability real quick. Replayability is great because the app can randomize the events and randomize the map and randomize the scenario. So that makes replayability potentially infinite as long as they keep updating to change it, and as they include new scenarios, whatever it may be. So it adds replayability, definitely. And last, strategy. There are definitely optimal moves in this game, and there are ways where you can just travel on the map doing nothing, and then suddenly the game's over and you lost. So you really have to think about where you want to move to optimize your gameplay. So finally, I really do like this game. It is very difficult, and there are some with the drawing of cards that I don't like, but overall, the replayability, the different maps, the variability in the game. Like I said, I played 5 scenarios. None of those scenarios were the same because they had deduction, they had fighting, they had battle maps, they had kind of like a pick up and deliver. There was lots of different types. I'm sure there's going to be some escort missions. There's lots of different types of missions. So I really do like Lord of the Rings, Journey to Middle-earth, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8.5 out of 10. So I've been Ian. Once again, sorry for the longer video. The rules explanation took a lot longer than I expected. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And remember, whether you're a heavy gamer or light gamer, always keep it fun.